Oh, your life now. You couldn't be mad about it. You've been said and said and no. You couldn't be sad about it. And it's been all this time, and you haven't lived without it. You are shining, shining. It seems though that your life you'll find it. No, but you'll never, no, you'll never see the rain. No, but you'll never, no, you'll never see. And guess you down, but that's okay. You've been pushed back, you feel the pain. And when you fall, just lean on me, 'cause you never know, never seen, never smelled, never felt the rain, rain, never felt the rain, rain. It's a cold, dark night and no one's trying to find it. You're just coasting, coasting by, 'cause nothing seems to mind it. No, but you'll never, no, you'll never see the rain. No, but you'll never, no, you'll never see. And guess you down, but that's okay. You've been pushed back, you feel the pain. And when you fall, just lean on me, 'cause you never know, never seen, never smelled, never felt the rain, never felt the rain. And it gets you down, but that's okay. You've been pushed back, you feel the pain. And when you fall, just lean on me, 'cause you never know, never seen, never smelled, never felt the rain, never felt the rain.
Oh, you motherfuckers. Okay. All right. I'm putting cases on all you bitches. Huh? You think you can do this shit? Jay! You think you can do this to me? You motherfuckers will be playing basketball in Pelican Bay when I get finished with you. Shoot program, nigga. 23-hour lockdown. I'm the man up in this piece. You'll never see the light. And who the fuck you think you fucking with? Are you police? I run shit here. You just live here. Yeah, that's right. You better walk away. Go and walk away, because I'm going to burn this motherfucker down. King Kong ain't got shit on me.
You know, we back again. We back right at it again. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tough Love, and I'm Mario J. Listen, we got to get right into this because it's very important. It's very important, and what it is that I want to know what Thanksgiving means to you. It's a lot of people who come up with a lot of things in regards to, you know, it's a chance for me to spend time with my family. You know, it's a chance for me just to relax and kick back, just watch a couple football games, watch the parade. But what does it really mean to you? And I wanted to kind of, you know, just break down, have a conversation, and really talk about, you know what I'm saying, the whole Thanksgiving and everything wrapped around the Thanksgiving thing. And what, you know what I'm saying, what does it really mean? If you're black, if you're white, if you're Hispanic, what does it really mean for you? So today I'm going to bring on some special guests. But before I bring on some special guests, I want to break down a few things. I seen this thing with Will Smith and Aunt Viv, you know, the dark skinned Aunt Viv. And they had this issue going on where she got fired and she was replaced by another person, another actor. So apparently Will Smith didn't talk to her for over 15 years, and they rekindled, you know what I'm saying, you know, not in the Thanksgiving spirit, but in the spirit of just correcting a wrong. And I wanted you guys to kind of ask yourself, do you think Thanksgiving is a time for that? When it's all about family, it's all about, you know, being together. It's all about, you know, just kumbaya, woosah, you know, that heavy breath or whatever. So I wanted to bring in my special guests or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Bring them on in, you know what I'm saying? Bring them in. What's going on, brother?
What's up? And they didn't talk for 27 years. Now,
27 years. I said over 15 years.
Yeah. But I'm saying 27 years ago, it feels like a whole 12 years on top of that. That's a long fucking time.
That's a long time to have an issue with somebody, definitely.
Man, listen.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as with me, like my memories of Thanksgiving, you know, I gotta look at my memories of Thanksgiving more so on the story. And my memories of Thanksgiving is just like, you know, getting together with family and y'all eating together, having good times, stuff like that. You know, I feel like people worry too much about the politics of stuff. Like, you know, it's the history of, I mean, well, we look at the history of every single fucking thing we do, we wouldn't do nothing. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
Like, you know, it's like, oh, you know, chocolate chip cookies was made by accident. Every time you eat chocolate chip cookies, you're eating a mistake, you know, or popcorn, same thing. Like, you know, like at the end of the day, it's like, it's about whatever you make it. And, you know, and you know, the thing about these holidays is like a lot of times, that was the only time that people would get off enough time where they can go travel and be with family that you may have not seen in a long time.
Right.
So for me, it wasn't really about, you know, what the story is. It was always about just getting to see family that you ain't seen. But it's almost like the time that you get to spend with family, or more so the closer part of your family, without a family reunion or something like that, you know.
I definitely agree with you on that, you know what I'm saying? But I think for a lot of people, especially like for the military folks, you know what I'm saying, when you're not at home and you take, you know, you leave, you know, you take your vacation and you get a chance to go travel back home. For some people, they only see their family once a year annually, you know what I'm saying? They never get a chance to kind of go back and visit their people regularly. So this is the time where I could just go back, give me some sweet potato pie, give me some chicken, you know, give me some cobbler. So what I wanted to do was really dive into this video because I felt like this, to me, it kind of lingers around Thanksgiving for me, because I feel like you have to question yourself. Suppose your brother, you fell out with your brother or your sibling or whatever the case may be, your mom, and it's just like, you know, you start to think it's Thanksgiving. So I'm going to let bygones be bygones and reach out to that person because it's about being with family. And I think that, you know, if you watch the interview, which I'm about to show it or whatever, to me, it was about setting the record straight. It was about letting bygones be bygones. And I really felt like, you know what, to me, this is the essence of Thanksgiving for a lot of people. I'm gonna let some shit, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to forgive you to a certain extent, and we're going to celebrate this holiday together. How many times do you feel like people be like, you know what, since it's the holidays, I'm gonna let some shit go?
I mean, people say that. You know, I don't think it's specifically about it being a holiday, more so than you don't want to ruin everybody's good time with drama. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, like holidays is a time where people come together, and you know, you guys are trying to have a good time, right? Mm-hmm. That's why you guys get together for the holidays. You're trying to have a good time. So a person like, I'm gonna let some shit slide because I don't want to, you know, mess up the holidays, not because of the holidays. It's just their way of trying to be tactful about the situation.
Right. I mean, listen, man, I'm gonna tell you right now, for me, Thanksgiving is definitely an exciting time. I definitely appreciate any time where I can sit down with my family and just be like a football game, you know, playing or whatever. So I just think it's an exciting time just to be like, you know, be thankful, because a lot of people, you know, their parents are not here. You know, some people have lost their children, their siblings, you know, just family members and friends, and they don't have no place to go. You see what I'm saying? So they're going to live vicariously through people who do Facebook Lives and all that other stuff or whatever, and sit at home and eat oodles and noodles. So I just think that some people don't even think that, you know, it's somebody not in this position to give thanks for having a family.
Right. I mean, it kind of reminds me of, remember the classic movie Home Alone?
No doubt. Yeah.
It's like, it always start off with Kevin, like, you know, I wish you motherfuckers would disappear, right? And then apparently, look, he ended up being isolated all by himself. Then by the end of the movie, he misses his family and wish they was back.
Right.
It's kind of like those type of situations where you don't realize, you know, like as you mentioned, some people that don't have family, some people don't have, or some people are not on a good enough basis with their family where they get together and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's definitely everything. I feel like just period, you know, life is, you know, if you live a life of gratitude, it's kind of hard to be unhappy. I feel like it's kind of impossible to be grateful and unhappy at the same time. You know, a lot of times when you're unhappy is because you ain't really looking at the things that you blessed with. You ain't really looking at the stuff that you got going for yourself.
No doubt. Man, listen, man, I'm gonna just jump right into this shit, man. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. First of all, hey, shout out to Brittany. Shout out to Don Philly. Money Boy Trey is in the building. Shout out to Big Ricky in the building. If you're just tuning in right now, this episode, hey, let me drop this link if you guys feel a need to want to join us. Please come join us. We're just having a conversation. What does Thanksgiving mean to you? For a lot of people, it's all about forgiveness. For other people, you know, it's just another day. They don't celebrate it. They don't think about it. A lot of people, you know, that are considered to be more pro-black, or, you know what I'm saying, just more deeply rooted into African culture, they don't celebrate that. You know, so a lot of people don't celebrate Thanksgiving based on, you know what I'm saying, the whole Columbus thing and what he did to the Indians. So it's a big rhetoric. And I really don't want to harp on the pro-black and the rhetoric behind it. I want to harp on what you feel Thanksgiving means to you. What do you do? How do you celebrate it? Some people use turkey, some people don't. Some people eat Chinese food, some people eat pizza. So what do you feel Thanksgiving means to you? So if you want to hop on the panel, there's the link. Hit the link. Please join us. I'm about to play this video because I feel like the Will Smith and Aunt Vivian thing to me encompasses what Thanksgiving is all about. In reference to saying, you know, let me correct this wrong. It's all about family. They were on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air show for a couple seasons, so they definitely felt close-knit. They definitely felt like family. So when you fall out with someone, should it take damn near 30 years, you know what I'm saying? Lloyd said 27 years to correct that wrong.
Well, think about it. They worked together for 3 years, and for 27 years they were beefing. So they known each other for a total of 30 years, but a vast majority of those years, what was that, like 9 attempts, 90% of the time they known each other, they've been beefing.
No doubt, no doubt.
That's crazy.
My thing about it is when you have a season, what is a season? At least a year, right? You said
Yeah,
3 years.
3 years. 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, to me, if you're working day in and day out with someone for a year, you definitely, getting to know them.
Yeah. I mean, anytime you spend any significant time with somebody, I mean, you're gonna build like a bond. I'm just saying that's just crazy that, like you said, they've known each other for 30 years, and 27 of those years they wasn't even talking. They was beefing like on bad terms. That's wild to have, 90% of your time with somebody in disarray.
No doubt, no doubt. I just feel like for me, man, I'm very thankful and I'm very humbled to be in a position where I can say, I'm with my family. Now, I'm not with everybody I would like to be with, but I definitely can say I'm surrounded by family. But I started to sit down as I continue to be humble, and I think about all of those people that don't have a family. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, man, I wonder how they're spending their Thanksgiving. And you know what I'm saying? Whereas it saddens me, it also encouraged me to remain humble and also to be like, when you have an opportunity to, what I'm saying, hey, here's an extra couple dollars, here's a plate, here's a whole turkey, whatever you can do to boost that. So what I wanted to do was, instead of waiting until after Thanksgiving and talk about what we should have done, we have an opportunity the day before that we have today and tomorrow to actually say, are we giving back? Are we doing enough, not only in our communities, but with somebody we've seen, or have we checked on our friends and family to make sure that they good, they have a place to eat and stay and all that great stuff. So what I want to do is, I want to shout out. I see you. So what I want to do is I want to play this video for you guys. Please share, like, subscribe. Also subscribe to the House of Spades, also on YouTube. We'll make sure that we drop the link in there. We're going to play this video for you guys. I think it's very important that you guys see this. And it's basically Will Smith talking to Aunt Viv, the character Aunt Viv, basically reconciling, and he basically, outlining some of the things he was feeling and vice versa, whatever. So we're going to get into this real quick. Let go.
Because they sometimes
as soon as I fix the box.
Better.
Good to see you.
You too. You too. Where are you sitting? This has been tough.
Yeah. For sure.
Well, has it been tough for you?
Yes, it has.
Yeah. Only you know and I know what the truth is about all of this. I just wanted to know one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why so far? You guys went so far. I lost so much.
I think it would be helpful for me. Like, I don't know your story.
Mm-hmm. I know. I know.
So talk me through, because I was having a different experience.
As the oldest woman on that set, there's that respect level that I just needed to have of being an older woman and a Black woman. Mm-hmm. We had our issues.
Mm-hmm.
I had been banished. And they said it was you who banished me because I didn't laugh at your jokes. Mm. Then they ordered me to stay in my room. I couldn't come out on the stage. And I wasn't unprofessional on the set. Mm-hmm. I just stopped talking to everybody because I didn't know who to trust. And the whole negotiation thing was messed up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You guys offered me something I had to turn down. And I was like, why?
Absolutely. And
Did you know that they offered me 10 weeks of work and said you can't work anywhere else?
I didn't know specifically what the offer was.
10 weeks.
And I knew that
2
you
months.
had turned down the offer.
How do you survive with a mortgage and a new business and a new baby and a husband who wasn't working at the time?
Mm-hmm.
How do you survive?
Yeah.
So much of what you said just destroyed, and everywhere I went, everybody just beat me up. Mm-hmm. We lost our house. I lost everything. Reputation, everything. You took all that away from me. Mm-hmm. With your words, You know, words can kill. You know those words, calling a black woman difficult in Hollywood is the kiss of death. And it's hard enough being a dark-skinned black woman in this business.
Angry black woman, that's all I got. Bitter.
But what you didn't realize either, that I was going through a lot at home.
Right.
You didn't know. You
Yep.
guys didn't know. Very abusive marriage. I had a new baby. He was 3 months old. So I felt like there was no sanctuary anywhere for me. Family disowned me. The black community disowned me because they keep wanting to bring it up.
Yeah.
It's like, what about that Fresh Prince thing? What about Will Smith? What about all the, you know, it just never goes away. Black people beat my ass. They beat my son's ass. Somebody smashed a cookie in my son's face and said, your mother is a bitch. People send me hateful Instagrams. Aren't you dead yet? I love Will. Why don't you just die? It was hard. It was hard. But I promised my dad before he left this earth, and you know you lost your dad,
Yep. A couple
that
years ago.
I would clear my name because it's his name. My family said, you've ruined our name. But you're the big star, you know? I'm just a little black bitch. I just need some water.
Yep. You want to walk outside?
Yeah,
Yep.
I do.
Okay.
I can't hear you if you're talking. Can you hear me? Because I can't hear you.
What y'all think? What y'all think? Moneybag Trey said that's a big gap. I wanted you to get the impact of this not talking, having a grudge situation amongst close people, amongst family. You know what I'm saying? What do y'all think? So Brittany says, hey, he couldn't even look her in the eyes. Couldn't even look in the eyes. And you know, Will wears his heart on his sleeve or whatever, so you can see the emotion or whatever case.
Right.
It was crazy for me. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy for me. Ricky says Will should have made her whole. He was the money to do so.
Hi, Marcy. She's waving.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, but I mean, I'm just saying. What do you think about it, Lloyd? What do you think about what you saw, bro?
I mean, you know, to be a pariah in that situation, I mean, that shit got to be tough, especially when you can't get work and people are doing things. And, you know, what's crazy about situations like that is people will take sides without really even knowing all the facts. It kind of remind me even of the Jeezy and Gucci Man situation. When people taking sides, they ain't part of the situation. They going off what they heard. They done pick sides, decided who right, who wrong, and who should be doing what. Like, they ended a beef, right? And people was mad about it. In this situation, you know, people took sides because, unfortunately, she wasn't there to tell her side of the story.
Right.
And everybody else stayed intact, and she was the only person. We had a problem. We're not even really always sure exactly what her problem was. There were people who spoke on it, like Alfonso, a.k.a. Carlton. He said she was a crazy bitch. That's what his statement was. So, but, I mean, just to go through that, and then, you know, a lot of times, you know, when someone is left, when someone is left to deal with all of the what word am I looking for? When someone's deal with all the wreckage of an accident, and meanwhile you was able to move forward, you forget, or you don't even, or maybe you push it in the back of your mind what that person may be going through, and now you had to really face, you know, what she had went through, and you know, that probably even isn't even a half, but even that stuff is heartbreaking stuff to hear. And unfortunately, you know, these are things too that he probably could have helped with too, had he known what was going on, because they hadn't talked at all. He wasn't able to.
You know what? I think this situation just shows to me, you know what I'm saying, how unhealthy not only working relationships, professional relationships, but just personal relationships how unhealthy they could get, like how long you allow things to fester without bringing everyone involved in the situation to the table. If I have an issue with Lloyd, I can't rely on people that know me and Lloyd to fix the issue. We have to be man enough to say, hey, look, we're going to have to come to a head, or we're going to have to say, hey, F this, we go in our separate ways. And I just think that this situation, I wanted to broadcast this situation because there are people like that right now that are holding grudges. And I would ask you to say, are these grudges worth having? You know, is this something that happened to you that you saying, hey, I can't let go, or it's worth saying, it's at least worth the conversation? So how many people right now doing this whole Thanksgiving rev up, everybody's saying, you know, it's all about family, it's all about love, peace, happiness, kumbaya, sarah, sarah. How many people are saying, hey, you know what? I think I'm going to pick up the phone and talk to somebody I was holding a grudge to and see how they was going, you know, see how they living right now, whatever.
I mean, especially in situations where, like, you know, case in point, I got a friend who had to bury her son today. It's like, you know, either late teens or early 20s, right? And she had posted, like on her story, she posted the song Missing You with Brandy, was it Shaka Khan, and I think Gladys Knight, I think, is on there too. And you know, you look at you really think, I don't know if you know the song, but you hear the lyrics, you know, it talks about, you know how how y'all could have said things if time was on your side. You know, you didn't know what time was going to be so short to each other and stuff like that. And you think about all the years that people lose and waste, especially over petty and little shit, you know, preferences, like, and you know, really think about it. And then all of a sudden, if that person was to die, or you was to die, that other person will be sitting around with a lot of guilt because the situations that they never resolved, you know, especially if it's somebody you really care about. It's like you missed this time that you could have had with somebody over some bullshit.
No doubt. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, stop waiting till people die to give them flowers. And I'm going to also say, stop waiting till people die to apologize, to right wrongs, to have the tough conversation or whatever. It's like this, man. Unless a person like molested you, raped you, or, you know what I'm saying, slighted you in a way that it's just unreasonably, unimaginably fucked up. You know what I'm saying? I just think that there are certain things that our egos just don't allow us to say, let's come to the table and have a conversation.
Especially, like, you know, you're looking at, you know, relationships be so fragile. It's like people you have really dope memories with, you ain't talking to no more over something petty, right?
No doubt.
If you have really dope, we're not talking about people like, you know what I'm saying? Like, for example, I have family members who, you know, I still care about them, but I deal with them from afar because they're just nothing but drama. You know what I mean? And so rather than even be partaking the drama, I just deal with them from afar. Because I want us to maintain being on good terms, if that makes sense.
No doubt.
So I deal with them from a distance, but, you know, there's people who, like, y'all have had a lot of great times together. Y'all was like, you know, I understand sometimes people grow apart, but sometimes this ain't even an issue of growing apart. Y'all had one situation that y'all didn't agree on or whatever happened, and now that just ruined everything.
Yeah.
And that's wild, you know what I'm saying? Especially, like, it be people that's legit missing the other person and won't even reach out.
No doubt. I mean, it's difficult, man. You know, you got to be an honest broker. You got to be the person that says, you know what, I'm going to let bygones be bygones, or I'm going to fall on the sword and I'm going to say, you know what, that was on me. Because here's the thing. If you mess somebody over, it is difficult for somebody to call and be like, hey, I know I messed up. And then for some people, it's like, well, shit, this is your 5th time messing up. You see what I'm saying? Like, if you know, so how many people got that crackhead in the family? You know, they come over, every time they come over, something get missing and shit. And then they call you all of a sudden. They know it's the holidays coming. And they're like, hey, you know, just want to know, can I come through? It's not easy to be like, I want you in my space because I know you're going to bring some negativity. I know it's gonna be some fuck shit surrounding you. So it's not easy for a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, to say, how can I protect my peace with bringing you back into my harmony, bringing your chaotic, you know what I'm saying, narcissistic self into my harmony.
No, I mean, that's part of it, but like, I think sometimes it's not even about that. Like, one thing I used to say a while ago is that people value their hangups more than they value other people. And so sometimes it's not even a matter of peace. It's just that people have these preferences that trump everything else, trump other people. You know what I mean? And it might be like a small thing, like, you know, oh, I don't like people that's bald headed. You know what I'm saying? Not, you know, and so now then, you know what I'm saying, you could be cool as fuck, but you bald headed, I can't, you know what I'm saying, I can't get over the fact that you bald headed. So, you know, you're missing out because, you know, over something silly like that. And then there's people that with silly preferences like that who make decisions on whether or not they want to deal with people off stuff like that. And, you know, one of the things I used to tell people about when it comes to, because people talk about having standards, but usually people's standards are based on superficial things, based on situations, stuff like that. I was like, listen, that's not really having standards. You should have a standard of how people treat you. Like people treating you right. That's where your standard should be. That's what the standard is. Anytime a person isn't treating you right, you're selling, and your excuse for selling is all these bullshit standards that you set that really, you know, could change at the end of the day. How tall somebody, you know, well, how tall somebody is, don't matter, but like, you know, how much money somebody making, you know, how they dress, all those stuff. Like, it just be the littlest stuff that people give so much weight to.
It's one of those situations, man, you know, that I feel like for some people it's like, you know what I'm saying, hey, nobody better not cross my family. I'm about that life. You know what I'm saying? Like it's one of those loyalty, trustworthy type situations. It's just like honor, respect. You know, it's everything.
Right.
And it's like for other people, it's like, you know what? Just like I think somebody was saying, I love them from a distance. You know what I'm saying? I love them, but as long as they stay over there. You know, Ricky Manning. Shout out to Ricky Manning. Y'all make sure y'all check him out on YouTube. He said, hey, I had to go get drunk to be around my family. You know what I'm saying? So everybody has, of course, it's a case-by-case basis. Everybody has that certain type of history, those different narratives. But my question is Thanksgiving strong enough to say, I'm going to let bygones be bygones? I'm going to let this day amplify us working together, us being in the same space, us sharing certain moments, us doing it for the grandkids or doing it for our kids or doing it for our siblings. You know, did the coronavirus, does this pandemic push us into saying, you know what, tomorrow ain't promised. This may be my last Thanksgiving with somebody that I love. So let me move into this space and be around my loved ones. What you think about that, Lloyd?
I mean, I guess it really just depends on the individual. Some people, it really depends on the individual and who you with. Like, I wouldn't recommend doing that with everybody, but you know, especially if it's somebody that you had a really good relationship with, or like at least a working one with, and it was over some bullshit, you should definitely correct it. There's some people though that can't be helped. You know what I'm saying? And you got to decide. So you know, you kind of like got to pick your battles for sure.
Yeah.
But some people are worth it, and yet some people, because of whatever reason, they don't take those steps. Some people aren't. That's just what it is. You know what I mean?
I think you're right when you say pick your battles. My thing about it is, man, it's like some people are willing to die holding grudges. Some people are willing to say, I'm going to let someone live in my head rent free, day after day, time after time, in a negative capacity. That means every time I hear your name, I see your face, anything that correlates to you and your being, I'm going to think negative of it. And I tell people, it is best to let that shit go. Because it's taking up room for positive. It's taking up room for growth. It's taking up room for things that provide you peace, that help you actually realize that, you know what, man, I'm okay being positive. You know what I'm saying? Some people, it's almost like loving your family from a distance. It's like, I need to keep the people I don't like in my head. And it's like, why? Why not hate them from a distance or have a discord with them from a distance? It's like they stay on your brain. And my thing about it is, does Thanksgiving make you feel like it's time to change?
But also, so sometimes you gotta, like, people don't do a lot of exploring. Like, sometimes you have to explore why you don't like a person. Like, sometimes the things that you don't like about somebody are a reflection of what you don't like about yourself.
Ooh. Okay, talk about it. Talk about it.
So when you address your own issues, then it help you address what you don't like about them. You know, also too, it's like another reason why we typically have issues with somebody, because we have these ideas that society has given us of how things are supposed to be. More specifically, when you have issues with your parent may not have been the parent that you thought they should have been based on, you know, the ideas of what you were taught what a parent should be. But sometimes what's going on in those situations is it's a cycle where your parents also didn't have great parents either. And so they're still dealing with the damage of that. And so one of the ways you heal from that is you got to be the parent to that parent you got to be the parent that parent never had. So you almost got to be, you got to fill in that gap for your parent. And that's how you mend those relationships, by being what they need. And I've had to do that in my own life very early, you know, because, you know, obviously you don't get to pick your parents, but, you know, I had to learn to do that. And that's the reason why me and my dad have a relationship today. I mean, it was not like he was really around that much, or really not as much as he could have been, you know what I mean? But, you know, at the end of the day, you only get one dad. So I had to decide, okay, you know, am I going to, you know, worry about the fact that he wasn't what he could be, or am I just going to cherish the fact that I do have a dad that I know who he is, you know, and just make the most of it. Like, I feel like life is about learn how to make lemonade. You know what I mean? You gotta learn how to make the most of whatever you have. And you know, it's not about what, you know, I think we get so caught up in what things are supposed to be or what they should be that it prevents us from appreciating what they are.
You know what? You know, you make some legitimate points. And this wasn't even really about to bring the children in. You know what I'm saying? And as a person that says, you know what, hey, my father wasn't really around. However, you know what I'm saying, this is a situation where, you know, you may want to say, hey, I'm gonna let bygones be bygones, or at least for this particular day, we're gonna be, you know what I'm saying, subtle. We're going to actually just enjoy this day. You know what I'm saying? And I think that for a lot of people, man, they have this imbalance of holding on to things, harping on to things, having ego issues, and just not able to get over the motherfucking gripe of saying, you know what, man, hey, it's Thanksgiving, let's just enjoy this shit. Let's just do this shit for the day, and it is what it is, or whatever case to be. I think it's hard, man. I think it's hard for people to just be like, I'm gonna let shit go. I'm gonna forget about shit. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter what day it is. You know what I'm saying? I don't rock with you. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you wasn't there for me when I was growing up, or, you know what I'm saying? So my thing about it is, how do you get over it enough to say we're going to celebrate this day?
Well, you know, I kind of look at, you know, a great example, you know, is we're going to go back to the Gucci Mane Jeezy situation, because you had a situation where one person was kind of like moving forward, another person was still kind of holding on, right? So there were shots being thrown, right? Now, it very easily could have turned a situation where it could have went completely left, right? But fortunately, even though, you know, Gucci Mane came in on one, Jeezy didn't feed into it. So what it did was it left the opportunity for them to mend and come to a truce by the end. You know what I'm saying? Because it takes two. You know what I mean? It takes two to feud and go back and forth. But because he didn't, I call it's this thing called damage control.
Mm-hmm.
It's used in public relations. And the way it works is you got a situation, try to get ahead of it. And the first thing you try to do is solve that situation as quickly as possible. If you can't solve it, then you want to make it, minimize it as much as possible, right? If you can't do that, then you want to at least be able to cope with it, right? What people typically do when there's a problem is they do things to make the shit worse. It's like, oh my God, there's a fire. Let's get this gasoline in. Some people be like, like when there's a fire, some people like, fuck it, let this motherfucker burn. You know what I'm saying? That's what people do, right? Yeah. And so, like you got to have some damage control. Like all because of flames, fire breakout, don't mean say fuck the whole house. You might better save the rest of the house, and just that room might have to be repaired. But you got to rebuild the entire house. You know what I mean? But I mean, also there's also some relationships that need to be severed too. Like there's this saying that I always thought it was just so cold and so gangster. It says, "Let the bridges that I burn light the way." That's wild, right? Think about it. Let the bridges that I burn light the way.
Definitely. Miss Outland says, I have been around long enough and have seen often too many times whenever there are family gatherings, fights always break out.
Well, I can't. Fights do break out, I guess, here and there, but like it depends on the type of family you have. Like, for example, I have my dad's side of the family, I have my mom's side of the family. My mom's side of the family is a little bit more mellow. Like they're not really that confrontational. So they'll gossip about the situation all day, but it ain't really gonna be no straight up altercation on that side of the family. My dad's side of the family, it didn't went down.
Yeah, no
doubt. It went down. You know what I'm saying? Like thought somebody was gonna die tonight. Down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, it's really about, it's really about that family, that family dynamic. But I've seen plenty of family gatherings happen where no fights, majority of the family gatherings that I've seen or witnessed or been a part of, there has not been any type of fight or anything. They do happen here and there, but I've never. That's not the majority of my experience. I would say on like a 90% clip, 95% clip, that most times family gatherings are cool.
No doubt. Yeah, I definitely think it's on a case-by-case basis. I don't think this is one of those things where you say, it only happens in the black communities. I think it's on a case-by-case basis because I've definitely seen some wild shit on throughout all races, depending on the tension and the situation that's going on during the family reunion at Thanksgiving type situation.
Typically, when there's fights breaking out, though, this is what I found in those situations. It's usually some unaddressed bullshit.
No doubt.
And the bigger the fight, usually the more unaddressed bullshit. We're talking about a situation where somebody might have been molested and was a cover up, or stuff that get handled, or some pent up jealousy of somebody who all of a sudden they've had enough. They had enough to hear. Like it's really some usually, especially even with any type of blow up, typically it's because someone has something within themselves that they're suppressing that hasn't been addressed. And what happens when you have unaddressed issues is they collect compound interest over time.
No doubt.
It's way bigger.
It's very interesting to me because I see that Brittany was saying, I'm adopted, so you can only imagine what I've witnessed. And let me kind of harp on that right there, because a lot of times when people talk, they never come from that perspective. They never talked about being adopted, being in foster homes, being in juvenile detention center. They never talk about being outside the home and being placed in another narrative. Of course, being adopted and placed with strangers And of course, depending on the age and
Yeah,
depending on how much
I
you
was
know
in
about,
foster care.
depending on about how much you know about your, you know what I'm saying, your biological family, you tend to say how open you're going to be, or when you grow up. Like me personally, I was always used to being a loner.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Growing up in foster homes and juvenile detention centers and, you know, group homes and just all these different places, you know what I'm saying? Just basically going through the system, you know, bouncing around. I really wasn't one of those things where it's like, oh, it's Thanksgiving, because I'm not with my family. I'm not with my siblings. I'm not with my mother and my father. So it was always one of those things where it's just another thing. You see what I'm saying? So I remember a lot of times where, you know, a bunch of kids that don't know each other sitting at the table and say, oh, it's Thanksgiving. For us, to me, I think the biggest thing was, okay, we're going to get to eat. But it really wasn't a sense of camaraderie. It wasn't a sense of, man, I really feel like, you know, I'm amongst my family. So now being older, you know, after 20 years in the military, after starting my own family, having children, it's different because it's like you want to implement certain traditions, implement certain standards and morals, and so that way they can look back and say, you know what, you're not alone. You're surrounded by people who love you, despite the pandemic, despite what's going on with the president, despite, you know what I'm saying, whatever's going on, you always have a place here. There is a level of togetherness here. Lloyd, talk to me. You said you was in a foster home. Talk to me, bro.
Yeah, well, you know, for 15 years, I went in foster care when I was 15. So for a majority of my life, I was around my regular family. And I went, you know, I was one of the lucky ones as far as being able to go into foster care at 15 and found a home and only stay in that one home, right? I was one of the lucky ones. Typically, that's not how it works. This family was very close as far as, you know, you look at families go. Their family was really, really close. They got together for all holidays, and, you know, they had like birthdays, like they got together for all birthdays, even the foster kids' birthdays. They have, because it was my foster mother. She had a daughter that was old enough to be my mama, and she had kids, and she also had foster kids as well. So it was just like and this is a black family, by the way. But it was definitely a different experience, and I got a chance to see a family be close on a level that I had never witnessed, and it was a dope thing to be a part of. You know, it was just, at the end of the day, you know, it wasn't my actual family, and, you know, even though I was kind of under the impression that, you know, when you're in a foster family, that they're, you know, that you typically get treated as if you are family, right? And I've had a couple of rude awakenings that kind of reminded me that, yeah, you know, this ain't really your family. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and, you know, and those were situations that was tough pills to swallow a lot of different times. But you know, as far as, you know, it was great things that happened because of that situation. Like, it definitely prepared me for later on in life, for sure. I feel like, you know, every aspect of my life kind of prepared me for the next phase.
Yeah, no doubt. Definitely. I appreciate you sharing your story, man. I think as we go, you know, Brittany has said something in regards to saying, unfortunately, you know, she was molested by her adopted dad. And I think she said, I just met my birth father in 2014. You know, that's funny. Here's what's so funny about it. This year, you know, my sister, she's really heavy into just tracking down people. Like, she's really heavy into history and knowing like who the grandparents were.
This is your biological sister?
My biological sister. Yeah. So she was like, yo, because she recently found her father. I believe it was this year. You know, and it's a beautiful thing. I definitely was excited for her. I think she had like over 10 other siblings, you know, and they all like connected and they was able to sit down and talk. And I think her dad living out in Georgia or something. But the fact of the matter is, so she was like, hey, bro, I want to help you. And, you know, I want to help you, you know what I'm saying, find your dad. And I was just like, yeah, all right, you know, all right. So, you know what I mean? So she's doing all this research. She's reaching out to other family members. They doing all this research. I'm on Ancestry. I'm on DNA, this and This. So she finally tracks this dude down. And lo and behold, this dude died in like 1990 something. And it's just like, but you know what I'm saying? You know, his mother is still alive. His mother is kind of sick right now, whatever case may be, but I'm actually supposed to be talking to her here in the next couple of days. So for me, I'm kind of like, you know, wow. And then come to find out I may be the only child of my father. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting. But it's just like, does Thanksgiving mean more that, you know what I'm saying, now that I know, you know what I'm saying, who my father is, and now that I know that, you know what I'm saying, I have a grandmother that I never met or whatever case may be, I'm still kind of on the fence. So when you guys start talking about foster homes and just meeting your dad and, you know, all this other stuff or whatever case may be, it definitely resonates with me because I know that there are a lot of kids, whether you guys know it or not, there are a lot of children out there that are misplaced. There are a lot of children out there that are misplaced, and they don't, for some reason, once they go into the foster care system, they never rekindle with their biological people. But there's always a question. For me, of course, being at the age of 40-something years old, you want to say, hey, you know, what type of person was my dad? What type of, you know, man was he? What did he like? What did he dislike? You know, am I like him or am I better than him? So when you find out after waiting to say, who is he? And you find out that he's deceased, I think for a lot of people it'll be like, well, damn, you know what I'm saying? It's I don't want to say a humbling feeling. It's a numb feeling because it's like, can you get saddened by something you never had?
Yeah, can you miss something you never had? I feel it.
No doubt. Yeah.
You ever heard the song "Journey to the Past"? It's from the Anastasia movie. I think it's called. Is it Anastasia?
I definitely saw Anastasia.
I think, or either that or from Pocahontas or whatever. Maybe Anastasia. But like, if you ever get a chance to listen to the lyrics,
mm-hmm.
and you know, it kind of, you know, when you know, because you know, it's talking about, you know, finding out, you know, journey to the past, where you know, it's like going through like your family history, you know, trying to find out who you are and who, you know, identity. Not so much because, oh, you don't know who you are as a person, but you know, the things that come together to make you, the things about yourself that you may not understand. Because I feel like some things are nature and some things are nurture. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a combination of both. There are things that you may have, characters you may have from people in your family that even though you never met them, you still have those characteristics, right?
No doubt. Yeah.
And so, you know, and as far as some of the things that I was mentioning about like molestation is such a big thing.
Definitely.
Even in families, like I said, even in families where there's no foster care, and really I mean, with all of the BS and testing that they put these people through, how are they still letting molesters slip through the cracks? Mm-hmm. Like, your foster home is supposed to be a safe place, and for you to be molested by your adoptive or foster parent is absolutely unacceptable. It's absolutely bullshit. Like,
definitely,
like, because I mean, a lot of times that's why they're moving somebody out of the home. It's protecting from things like that, and then you send them right back in those situations. But I mean, we gotta do a better job of protecting our children and our women.
Agreed. I definitely think, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning in, we're talking about what Thanksgiving means to you. Everybody has a specific meaning. Everybody has a certain reasoning. Everybody applies a certain narrative when they talk about holidays and being around everybody. What does it mean to you? What do you do? What are your traditions? What do you dislike? What do you love? You know what I'm saying? And for us, you know what I'm saying, I think we've been breaking down, you know, what it means to us. This has been a lot of people sharing their stories, and I really appreciate that. What I want you to do is I want you to take the next step, and I want you to share this conversation.
I got some questions for you, though.
Definitely.
How do you feel like your experience growing up in foster care, how you feel like that affected you? How you feel like that affected you in relationships, you know, as an adult with other people, or even like romantic relationships and stuff like that? Do you feel like that do you feel like your experience growing up in foster care has impacted those things?
I would say yes, because I have an issue when people say I get it out the mud, but everything they are getting has been given to them. You understand what I'm saying? Like I'm used to it's one thing to lack confidence. You know what I'm saying? But it's another thing when you know what I'm saying, you've been through the gauntlet and you feel like, motherfucker, listen, I remember, you know what I'm saying, not having food in the house and going out there and fucking working. I remember providing for myself. I remember defending myself. And when you don't have people saying, here you go, like if you don't have a father or you don't have a mother right here to say, oh, well, I'm going to pay your bills, or I'm going to give you a car, and I'm going to do, like when you don't have those type of people giving you shit and you actually earn it, you actually go out there and you bust your ass to get it, it's a different type of swag. It's a different type of conversation. And when you meet those people, maybe like yourself, Lloyd, and you have a certain level of confidence about you. Like it kills me when someone says, well, somebody told me this, and they get all down and depressed. I'm like, well, how does their verbiage affect your life?
Listen, I be telling people like this, you know, like when you went through a harder life, and you know, really, it's not because you comparing your life to people, because that's not what I do. But when you hear some of the stories that people tell you, be like, really, that's it? But you know what I mean? But you know, at the end of the day, you know, I used to tell people all the time, if you gonna quit doing, like, I was on this poetry site before.
Mm-hmm.
So like people would be mad, like, oh, you keep crushing that person's dreams by telling they suck. Listen, if you're gonna let somebody telling you suck stop you from doing, guess what? You was never gonna be shit anyway. No, because you gotta look at, like, even you look at reality now, right? Look at the reality right now.
Yeah.
All celebrities, anybody that's any type of famous, guess what they be getting? Motherfuckers want to neck on Twitter. No, neck on YouTube. Like, saying all kind of, look, if you ain't got thick skin, guess what? What's gonna happen? You gonna wither. Like there's no way to protect, like, all, like, in this coddle culture, right? You can't say like I mentioned before in another show, like, you know, roasting and playing the dozens, that was a rite of passage. That's how you know what I'm saying. And the fact now is like, oh, you know, you say anything about anybody, all of a sudden, like you done ruined their life, literally ruined their life by a statement. Like, what happened to stick and stone might break my bones, but names never hurt me and stuff like that. Shit is real.
Yeah,
I'm tired of people making it like, oh, you know, you're not protected. You got to prepare these kids for this world, to deal with this world. You know what I mean? If you don't prepare them for it, when the world preparing for it, it's gonna be a whole nother level. They're gonna get a rude awakening.
I think my issue, you know what I'm saying? First of all, you know what I'm saying? Let me rewind this motherfucker real quick, or whatever it can be. For those people who subscribe to the channel, I see that the subscription is going up. Thank you very much. Who liked the video, who shared it. Thank you very much. But let me get back into this shit. My thing about it is, I never knock anybody's journey in life. Like however it's not as a child, however you're born,
right,
into whatever you're born into is not your fault. Let's just get that shit out the way.
Agreed.
Whatever you go through up until the age of adulthood is what you go through based on the opportunities that you have available, based on the people that you have around you. You're not responsible for yourself. Most people are not. The issue that I have is that if you don't have a structured environment and you're forced to raise yourself, or you're forced to be moved around and try to rediscover yourself, you know what I'm saying? Imagine being in a foster home. True story. In a foster home, you know, you get there on the weekend or whatever case may be, you know, you're playing with kids or whatever, you're trying to figure out who's who or whatever case may be, and get into a couple fights, because, you know, that's especially that's boys, that's how boys do or whatever, you know. So you there maybe Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, then Monday, you know what I'm saying, you get somebody to come in your room, like, you know what I'm saying, 6 a.m. Hey, pack your stuff up, get your bag. Do you realize that it took me a long time not to live out a suitcase or a bag. Like, honest to God, like I would not unpack because I always thought, hey, don't get settled, don't get cool because this is just temporary. And that's how I kind of live my life. So when you're talking about, hey, how does this affect your relationship? Like, this might be temporary, so don't get too comfortable. You see what I'm saying? So I think that was a part of the whole foster home and moving around situation or whatever, because people are bounce you around, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's not people who want the responsibility of a foster child.
You know what my adaptation was? My adaptation was, instead of being like, don't get too comfortable, I learned to be comfortable in every situation. I learned to, be comfortable with not knowing all those things, right? So I would have situations where I just met a whole group of people and I'm joking around with them as if I know them for years, right? And they were like, Dad, he too comfortable. And I'm like, I'm always comfortable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so with that situation, like, it's like I just have because I've been through so many situations, both as a child and as an adult, I just had this attitude that I could deal with whatever comes. So it's not coming from a situation of fear. Now, I'm also too, I feel like too, is if you're always thinking about what you don't want, you're going to get it, right? It's like whether you think about what you want, you think about what you don't want, whatever you're thinking about, you're going to get it. So I'd rather think about the outcomes that I want rather than think about the outcomes that I don't want.
Mm-hmm.
But wherever the situation was, because I've been through so many, like, shoot, it's no sweat. Wherever the hell that happens, I'm going to get through that shit. I might, look, depending on how drastic the change was, it may take me a little bit more time to adjust than others, but I always feel like there's never a situation like, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to make it. Or matter of fact, I don't know whether I'm going to make it. I might not know how I'm going to make it, but I know that I go through a situation expecting to get through it.
Okay. You know what, man? My thing about it is like this. The point about not being comfortable in a situation, maybe it was just the places that I was going. You know what I'm saying? But it was one of those things. You know what I'm saying? If you was a new foster kid or the new guy in the group home or whatever. As a matter of fact, do you remember fuck is that name? That movie? You remember the movie Deuce? When old boy was like, was it Deuce? God damn. Come on, bro, help me out. It was I think it was South Central movie or whatever. And his father went to jail. And every time he went to jail, you know what I'm saying, his son was growing up. And then
you talking about it ain't called South Central, or what's it called?
Is it called South? I don't think it's called South Central.
It's called, you talking with Jada Pinkett in it, right?
Not Jada South. Okay, it is called South Central. Yeah. Y'all remember when his son, he was of course he was in and out or whatever case to be, Bobby, and he went to jail, and his son went to a group home. And you remember when he went to the group home or whatever case to be, and he went in there and he was like, hey, this is your bed right here. And he sat on the bed, and those boys was like, walked up or whatever, and he stood up, he's like, Deuce, here. Bruh, I'm telling you, my whole group home experience was on that type of shit. The issue was I wasn't throwing up no signs. So it was like, okay, we just about to scrap this out and call it a day. So imagine bouncing around and moving around. You gotta protect your shit. You gotta stand up for what it is. That's why I go so hard. It's like, just don't play with me. Like I'm not like, I'm gonna go at you. You know what I'm saying? Some people say I'm trained to go. I'm gonna go at you. So that's one of those situations. So when I saw that, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes when I watch some old movies, like I feel that moment. Because it's like, that's what happens to these children inside these things. Bruh, either you gonna get your shit took or you gonna fight for your shit. You gonna make people respect you. And here's the thing, even if you get your ass kicked, it's the fact that you fought. You know what I'm saying? Like a couple good hits, and depending on who it is, it's like, yo, you good.
The part that I typically don't respect with people is like this. I don't respect people who can't handle their own shit. Like, I don't like it. Like, let's say me and you got an issue, right?
Yeah.
And now rather than you dealing with the me and you issue, you done incorporated some other motherfuckers that got nothing to do with us. You know what I'm saying? And it's like when you gotta incorporate other people in our shit, that's where I lose respect. Whether it's in a romantic relationship or whatever situation, like, because I feel like I'm gonna handle the shit myself. I don't need no reinforcements, no other bullshit. What the fuck you getting reinforcements for?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Those are the type of things that kind of like irk myself. Like, you know, I lose respect for people in those situations. I lose respect for people who, you know, if they got an issue, they can't say nothing. They want to, you know, also or people that do passive aggressive shit. You know what I'm saying? Like my so I'm aggressive. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I have this attitude, like I'm not worried about what might happen. I have an attitude list like this. Fuck it, let's find out.
Yeah.
Like, dang, I wonder if such and such gonna get mad if this happened. That's not my thought. My thought was, well, we about to find out. They gonna be mad or ain't. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
We just gonna get through this.
I don't. Even with going through all of that stuff, man, and then 20 years through the military, I don't have this situation where it's like I want to show somebody how bad or worse I can make a situation for them.
Right.
You know, I don't have that mentality. Like I'm to me personally, honestly, I feel like I'm very optimistic and I'm way like positive, and I try to push people in that light because I've seen shit go left so fast. Like people be like, you know what I'm saying? Like you was like, you don't like when other people try to handle situations and blah blah blah. Like I understand that, and then my thing about it is, who's teaching handle your own shit? Honestly, who's saying?
No, they telling you to
be a
go
man or be a woman.
No, you know you're taught from a very early age. Don't take the law in your own hands. Tell a grown up or tell a teacher or get the police. Like you're taught to have a third party intervene. But from my standpoint, I guess when you grew up in a situation where you didn't have no third parties, where you had to handle stuff yourself, that's your mentality. And I think there's a sense of empowerment that goes with being able to handle stuff yourself. Well, it's like, shit, I don't need them. You know what I'm saying? Why the fuck do you? But one of the things when you just mentioned is made me think about the fact that other people are used to that. And like, and when I handle stuff, like I'm never coming from a point of malice or like when I handle stuff. It's more so come from a standpoint of fearlessness, not malice, but fearlessness. Like I'm not doing this to be destructive. I'm just not afraid of the potential consequence. If that makes sense. Like I'm not gonna tear your shit up. I'm just not scared of what's gonna happen. Like I feel like whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. So we gonna deal with that shit, whatever it is.
Yeah, man. Listen, man. You know how you've been in a situation and you've seen so much destruction that you really hope that people are positive. Like I swear to God, man. Like even like I really hope that people are positive. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I say that is because I don't think. Take the Moultrie incident, right? Moultrie obviously. Moultrie, yeah. Moultrie obviously comes from a different era than you and I come from. I don't know if it, you know, according to my research, he wasn't in no foster home or whatever. He grew up with, you know what I'm saying, I think his grandma and whatever the case means, whatever. But I don't think Moultrie was ready for the beef that he was advocating for. From where I'm from, if I get online, matter of fact, we couldn't even get online. That wasn't even heard of. But the fact of the matter is, if you get online and you advocate violence and you advocate what you ready for on a constant basis, people are gonna test you. You know what I'm saying? I don't know too much about Dallas. I know about Dallas, but I don't know too much. But I got family members all over. So the fact of the matter is, when you advocate something, if I advocate, bro, if anybody cross me, I'm going to take their fucking head off, period. Somebody going to say, well, You said period. I'm about to see if I'm about to test the water.
It's like what Jay Prince was saying. You know, another thing, you keep campaigning for something, you're gonna get elected.
Exactly, and that's my issue. My issue is that everybody's not built like that. But in today's society, it's so easy to provocate. Well, I'm built like that. If I look the part, if I got enough tattoos, enough chains, if I say the most,
and that's part of my issue with that's part of my issue with the whole with the Jeezy and Gucci situation. So many people that have absolutely no street background whatsoever ain't about that life. Like they saying, well, somebody killed my or try to kill me, I'm gonna do this and that. It's like, have you ever killed anybody?
No doubt.
You ain't never killed anybody. You should just shut the fuck up. Like, and then too, they be the same one talking about stop the violence or just like you can't have it both ways. Because the reason why the violence keep going on is because it's retaliation. After retaliation, it's the back and forth. At some point, somebody got to forgive somebody.
Yeah.
At some point, they got to be the truth. So at some point, you got to let bygones be bygones, or the shit going forever. And it's always the people who on the sideline who ain't never experienced the shit, ain't never experienced the drug. It's kind of remind me of relationships, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you got these people on the outside of your relationship giving advice when they ain't got to deal with the consequences.
Right.
Advice. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to deal with the consequences. You can just shut the fuck up.
Right.
Shut all the way the fuck up. Not that you ain't got freedom of speech, but you need to shut the fuck up because you know what the fuck you're talking about.
No doubt. Listen, I understand exactly what you're saying, brother. I feel like, you know what I'm saying, this is why Thanksgiving to me is so important, because this allows you, you know what I'm saying, a realistic view of who do you consider to be your family? Who do you want to be around? Who do you care about enough to say, hey, you good? You got something to eat? You know what I'm saying? Who is it that you want to reach out to and say, you know what, it's all about us togetherness and building and letting encourage people. Make this Thanksgiving monumental for you. Make this monumental not only for you, but for the people that you love. You know what I'm saying? Anybody that comes in contact with you, share this message. Share it. Listen, if it's something that can be corrected and simply talked about and saying, for this day, we're going to let bygones be bygones. But if it's something that you can't get over and you got to love somebody from a distance, or you got to have discord from a distance, then you do that. Don't invade your peace. But I'm just feeling like this situation right here is one of them situations where you have to say, you know what, I'm willing to make this special. And it's so special, in fact, that I'm going to encompass something that I wouldn't have thought about encompassing before.
But the issue that you have, though, you might have to wait till next year or the year after that. We're dealing with COVID-19 and shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's that. And, a lot of people are scared. A lot of people feel like because of what they heard about this, they feel like they're going to get it, they're going to die. If they were to get it, they're going to die. And so, 2020 has been the year of years, especially with the way it started off, it was like living in a movie. You know what I mean? Like I feel like if they were gonna do some type of, you couldn't do a movie about 2020. You would have to do a series, and it had to be a series where each month is a season. So it'll be a 12-season series just on 2020, because that's how much things that was going on all at once. There's so many, it's like so many different nuances, so many subplots of 2020. You know what I mean? That it was just made this year unlike, and there's no one who lived through 2020 that's going to ever forget this year, period.
No doubt. This has definitely been
the most memorable year ever.
Definitely.
As far as I don't have a single year in my life that's been any, I don't even have a decade that's as memorable as 2020.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I just feel like, man, this is one of those situations where we get the opportunity to have conversations like this. And to really say, you know what's worth it? You feel me? What's really worth it at the end of the day? Do we want to have problems? Is it something that we can correct, or is it something that we have to say, hey, let go and let God? And I think that we have to give an honest assessment to what it is. I think that a lot of times, just us as men, You know, and I don't want to just say black and white, but us as people, we don't assess the situation. We ordain everything to be a fuck it. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck about it. And I don't think everything is a fuck it. I think some things are just temporary.
Until you get yourself together, though, you're not going to be able to you're not going to be able to make these type of assessments adequately. People have not fully dealt with themselves. They don't truly know themselves. They don't truly understand themselves. They don't, and so until you actually heal your relationship with yourself, it's going to be very hard for you to have valuable relationships with other people, lasting relationships with other people.
No doubt.
Period.
No doubt. Hey man, listen. So I'm not gonna hold this up too long, bro. Let the people know who you are. Let the people know how they can find you. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna close this thing out, man. Right. This has definitely been very grateful. I've been very excited to have this conversation, bro. Talk to him.
All right. I'm Lloyd Pearson, aka the Bartender of Truth. Blackified Radio. Well, Blackified Radio is my radio station. Blackified TV is a television network where we have shows like The House of Spades, which is a panel that's every Monday through Thursday at 9 p.m. You can find me at Blackified TV on everything. It's also House of Spades TV on everything, spelled just the way it sounds. And also I launched something new called Delicious TV, where it's coupon codes and deals for sites all over the internet, including Amazon. Right now we got some great situations. We get like 80% off, right now in the holiday season. Delicious TVs, spelled like delicious, but with an A added in there to make it deal. Check us out, and save you some money over these holidays.
Bro, I appreciate you taking the time to come out on the panel, bro. If I don't get a chance to talk to you before Thanksgiving, man, hey, be blessed, big brother.
You too, man. And definitely, like I said, one thing I respect is like you trying to give your children a better life than what you had, as far as and because of what you went through, you understand the impact of having these gatherings and spending this time with them. You know what I mean?
No doubt. I appreciate that, man. Thank you,
man. Peace.
No doubt. Peace. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to get out here. I had some family members just arrived, so I'm about to go holler at them. But the fact of the matter is, man, I'm really hoping that something said here tonight resonates with you to make you want to ask that question. Do I need to let bygones be bygones? Pick up the phone and call those family members that I don't normally talk to. Call those friends that I don't normally talk to. Or do I need to love and respect them from a distance? I want you guys to think about that. I want you guys to share this, like the page, subscribe, and I want you to leave your feedback. I'll definitely check it out. But I really appreciate you guys rocking with me, or whatever case to be. If I don't come back live again, I want to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. You know what I'm saying? And I'm hoping that your Thanksgiving is filled with joy, family, and friends. Until next time, y'all adult up. I can't leave without doing this. I love doing this.
Oh, you motherfuckers. Okay. All right. I'm putting cases on all you bitches. Huh? You think you can do this shit? Jay! You think you can do this to me? You motherfuckers will be playing basketball in Pelican Bay when I get finished with you. Shoot program, nigga. 23-hour lockdown. I'm the man up in this piece. You'll never see the light of it. Who the fuck you think you fucking with? I'm the police. I run shit here. You just live here. Yeah, that's right. You better walk away. Go on, walk away, because I'm going to burn this motherfucker.